XRP is a higher strategic reserve asset than Bitcoin. In this video, this is the argument I'm going to be making due to the fact proper now all the big crypto media debts are coming out and announcing Bitcoin is the handiest asset that ought to be within the strategic reserve due to its inherent homes. But humor is sufficient. Nobody simply gets into what the one's houses honestly are, because, you know, the argument stops there. On this video, I want to be breaking down the facts to this argument and in fact allow you to guys recognize why I believe XRP is a much better strategic reserve asset than Bitcoin. However, also communicate approximately a bit of a conspiracy theory I have at the stop of the video involving how XRP turns into that asset. Like usually, you are supporting me so much on this channel. Thank you to all people who takes the time to love this video and enroll in the channel. These easy things sincerely do help me out so much. Also, if you have any excellent region to shop for a few XRP, make certain to check out my preferred trade. That said, I'll simply write into it. I wish you men revel in the content material. The element that really made me virtually want to make this video is absolutely a debate I did between some Bitcoiners. It changed into about what's a better strategic reserve asset, Bitcoin or XRP. And I concept it changed into sincerely exciting, specifically whilst it got here down to what the Bitcoiners are pronouncing for what makes Bitcoin a better strategic reserve asset. The not unusual solution turned into, nicely, that is why Bitcoin turned into, Bitcoin was created to be a strategic reserve asset. It's the simplest cryptocurrency that has the inherent residencies of what is wanted for a strategic reserve. And I simply returned and notion of approximately that for a bit. What approximately Bitcoin makes it any different than XRP? And when I suppose we spoil down the real variations right here, you are going to begin to recognize that these humans have it completely backwards. Now, the first element that I changed into, absolutely taken back by. There's a change into the reality that is now not why Bitcoin was created in any respect. Charged community with the intention to send transactions from one character to every other without a crucial middleman. And this became innovative technology. This basically changed the arena and commenced the growth to cryptocurrencies. So do not get me incorrect. It turned into a massive revolution. And despite the fact that Bitcoin wasn't notable green, it wasn't wonderful fast, it turned into nonetheless earth-shattering in its talents. Now, the motive I bring this up is due to the fact a variety of the arguments by the Bitcoiners as well. Bitcoin's virtual gold, the entire motive Bitcoin turned into, created, changed into, to save wealth, to be a way to maintain fee. But on the quid of the day, it is no longer why Bitcoin changed into created. It wasn't everywhere in Satoshi's white paper. Bitcoin changed into created to be a peer-to-peer charged community. And Jack Dorsey even recently got here out and stated that he thinks that if Bitcoin most effective ever turns into a store of price, it has failed as an era. So what is my factor here? This complete idea that Bitcoin is a fee keeper fee, that's inherently why Bitcoin turned into created, is absolutely fake. It's simply the new narrative being assigned to Bitcoin. Now, I do locate this truly quite ripe, as it certainly goes absolutely in opposition to what Satoshi's imaginative and prescient for Bitcoin truly become. These new age Bitcoiners are surely making up a brand new narrative to pump their bags, but it goes absolutely towards the ethos of what Bitcoin will become alleged to be. This is a post I positioned out the alternative day. Satoshi created Bitcoin as a P2P price machine to disintermediate banks. Bitcoiners have completely abandoned that vision, rebranding it to digital gold just so those same establishments can pump their luggage. All at the same time as the completely pseudonymous, the complete time-calling XRP a banker's coin. Now, I find it so funny that those Bitcoiners' foremost argument for why Bitcoin can be a strategic reserve asset genuinely goes in opposition to the precise ethos of what Bitcoin changed into, created to do. So if this whole idea that it's the narrative that makes Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset is the main reason, well, that formula falls flat on its face, because Bitcoin become truly created to be the opposite of a strategic reserve asset. So let's jump into the basics proper. What makes Bitcoin any distinct than XRP? Well, funny enough, clearly not anything when it comes down to the tokenomics. XRP is genuinely, probably, a higher strategic reserve asset than Bitcoin. Why is that? Well, Bitcoin has a capped quantity, which is exquisite proper. It's no longer inflationary, but XRP is clearly deflationary. So while it comes right down to the tokenomics of the cryptocurrencies, XRP possibly has strategic benefits to being the reserve asset over something like Bitcoin. Also, it allows go to usefulness, right? What are you going to do? Just take the Bitcoin and preserve it in your strategic reserve? Or there are going to be different use cases for it, right? Strategic reserve going for use essentially to get an aspect in the subsequent generation economic system. Clearly, nothing is going to be built on Bitcoin proper. We're definitely not seeing the Bitcoin surroundings circulate in that course at all. Even as we have an explosion of interest, even as we have Ripple running with central banks, running with huge establishments and governments at the XRP ledger. So it is a very clear distinction. Not only is Bitcoin not installation from a tokenomic attitude be any better than XRP when it comes to being a strategic reserve asset, however you further measure it, but our various XLPs cannot sincerely be used for an awful lot at the same time as the XRP ledger can be used for all varieties of different things. So when you have a look at the real basics among these two blockchains, not anything genuinely separates it. It phrases of one being a strategic reserve, and funnily sufficient, one isn't necessarily greater decentralized than the opposite either. I'm no longer going to make this a whole decentralization video, but whilst you clearly check out it, there may be arguments to be made that the XRP ledger is more decentralized than Bitcoin. Now, with that stated, one big argument always comes up when I talk to these Bitcoiners about XRP as opposed to Bitcoin inside the strategic reserve. And that large argument is that Ripple holds too much XRP. Now, I want to talk approximately precisely why they truly a whole lot misunderstand why it is a terrific component. We'll get into that in a minute. The first component I want to talk about is in the event that they made Bitcoin a strategic reserve asset. Well, at the seize of the day, America is by no means going so one can grow to be a Bitcoin whale. Yes, they will be capable of get a ton of Bitcoin. I assume they may even arise to 1,000,000,000,000,000 Bitcoin. But although they did that, are they ever genuinely going to trap as much as Michael Saylor? Are they ever going to bypass Satoshi? Or are they just going to permit this unknown Satoshi guy, who will be the Chinese government, could be a few man or woman who would not depend, might be someone who is very, does depend, might be a person that clearly should not be, nobody has any idea who it is. Are they surely going to permit that be the most important whale for his or her strategic reserve asset? Doesn't it appear like a massive legal responsibility to mention, okay, this is inside the strategic reserve, we have the second biggest conserving, the number one holder, we have no concept who it is? I suggest that seems like a massive issue to me. How are you going to be in a position wherein you are not the biggest holder as the United States? If it'll be a strategic reserve asset, especially under President Trump, he's going to want to be the biggest holder. We'll see. He's going to need to dominate that environment. And he is not a good way to do this with Bitcoin. Not only that, the most important holder can be his largest enemy. So it is the first thing we need to talk about properly. Without knowing who Satoshi is, it brings up a large vulnerability for Bitcoin being that strategic reserve asset. Now, you can make a similar argument, right? Mark Ripple's a totally large holder. So now you are in a position wherein what? You are trusting an American enterprise? Well, you might argue it's better, right? Because at the least we know who the American organization is. We realize who's behind those holdings. In Satoshi's case, it is able to be the CCP. No one knows, at least we understand who Ripple is. But there is, in reality, an extra critical argument that I suppose plays into Ripple's want. All the XRP has not been dispersed yet. In truth, Ripple still holds a completely big portion of XRP. Let me inform you why that is sincerely a massive deal. Because if America wanted a strategic reserve asset that they have been capable of preserve in a huge quantity in assessment to different people on the network, there's no better preference than XRP. And that's due to the fact there's nevertheless so much XRP high quality that they may be allocated without transferring the fee of XRP. I want you guys to take this into consideration.